What's up, guys? FrugalBC back for another week of our Algorand DeFi experiment. By the way, which also we add HBAR to this as well. By the way, we will have an announcement at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that, but we'll talk about that. But let's just get into this week's experiment. Probably might have guessed pretty much everything is down. Not a surprise there, but let's take a look at what we actually got here. Yeah, so here we are. As you can see, Cometa dropped off a cliff, as did Algorand, keeps going down. And just as a quick reminder, we put money into 3 different projects. Right now, those are Cometa, Tinyman, and Folks Finance. We recently added HBAR's Saucer Swap, which has been increasing every week. One of the few that has been, even despite the price of HBAR going down, which is, well, it went up and then it went down. I think it's still up a little bit higher, fair enough. But we have seen pretty much everything drop, even Bitcoin this week having a massive drop right before the experiment. So it's down to 26 around there. Pretty low, probably a good time to buy in a little bit in anticipation of the bull run, not financial advice. Tinyman has held pretty steady. It hasn't really gone up a lot, but it hasn't gone down as much because it's balanced with US dollar coin. Tinyman replaced HumbleFi or Humble Swap. What do they call it again? Humble. Whatever, HumbleFi or whatever it is. Humble, the other platform that we just didn't find anything interesting on it after the BTC pair was gone. And the reason why Folks Finance is so low is because it was the remainder of what was left from AlgoStake after AlgoStake collapsed. Sold out of that after a pretty enormous loss and put it into Folks Finance. There's nothing you can do at that point. You just got to cut your losses. I mean, there's not coming back. There's no coming back for it. And the only one that's held this entire time is Cometa. It's been down a lot more. It's been in the 40s, but now it is down to, was it 71? Let me check my chart here. Yeah, 7109. Tinyman at 7288. Folks Finance all the way down to 833. That's just standard algo staking. So we're making some staking rewards or whatever they call it, deposit rewards, APR, but it keeps going down. I was thinking maybe US dollar coin would be a better option because at least it would go the correct direction. And so what we did is we took $100 of algo at the time of the experiment start back in March, as well as 100 Bitcoin to kind of serve as a control group. And the algo has performed almost the worst except for AlgoStake, which turned into Folks Finance after it collapsed. Whereas Bitcoin has most weeks been at the top. This week it is not because of Humble Swap increasing so much. But that's our chart for this week. Right now, your best bet is looking like Saucer Swap on HBAR. I hope that turns around. I think it's good to have other chains on here. If I was going to redesign the experiment, I'd probably do 2 of like 3 or 4 different coins and put them all into that and then see how that does. Maybe I'll do that next year. We'll see. Moving on to Lofty AI. So we're finally seeing some positive movement. What's really interesting is we had at one point, it was down to 12 properties not paying. And then today it was back up to 13. So I don't know what's going on there, but my daily rent is now up to 16.5 cents. That is because I bought some new properties. And if you could just scroll like I'm telling you to, computer, you can see a lot of 0% in there. That's not what you want to see. That one's getting something at least. Yeah, so my McDonald's property, I now have 6 of them for a total value of 300. That's yielding 6. And it's been solid since I bought my first one about a year ago, I think it was. The Miami Beach one's been doing pretty good too, which kind of doesn't surprise me. And then all the way at the bottom, we've got this 12,615 Jackson Avenue one. We now have 3 of those, and in a pretty short amount of time, that's yielded 33 cents. That one has been, I think it's at like 6.5 cents or something every day. So that's a solid one. That one is like a 10-unit property. So if there's going to be some degree of vacancies, but I don't think it's ever going to be fully. So the rental yield has been pretty good on that one. So we got a bit of a turnaround, like I said. And I just bought one of each this week. I think last week I bought the first 2 of the Jackson Avenue ones. So this has made me excited about Lofty again, being much more careful in which properties I choose. So we're gonna be really careful with that. Otherwise, just gonna really quickly go through the altcoin portfolio. Surprise, surprise, it is way down. Now with the Hedera pump, I was almost at parity with my HBAR, with my initial amount there, my cost basis, and that's not the case anymore. It's down about $40. And even my Cosmos, like I said, as you know, if you've been watching these, my Cosmos one is sort of a more of a snapshot than a cost basis, because I bought a lot of my Cosmos quite a while ago, and it was like $3, $4, $5. That is so that's down to 246 from 310. 9 total on the 9 coins for the bull run. 1460 is the cost basis, and 1046 is the current total. So down about $400 on that, a little bit more. I think that's it. And near protocol is now wrapped into that. I'm way down on near. Near is really far down. It's down to $1.15, which is probably the lowest. Is lower than any amount that I bought in. So I'll probably do some more DCAing this week. That's it for this week, and I've made a decision today that I'm going to go to monthly updates on these. Maybe I'll do like a halfway in between one for channel members only. I'm not sure yet, but it's just a little too much to do one of these once a week, along with all the other videos I'm doing. So initially this was for the NifGem platform. That didn't pan out. So I just moved it to my own. I mean, they were getting like 3 views over there. So it was doing me no good. And I was the only one posting on the platform, frankly. Me and Sewell had posted some videos too, but no one quite did as many as me. So it's kind of like, at some point, what are you going to do? But it's getting to be a little much. And I don't know if there's a strong, I know some of you really like this, but they're not getting the views that a lot of my other videos get either. So I think I'm going to go to once a month starting next month. So I'll finish out this month, and then probably, yeah, I'll have to figure out the timing. So maybe I'll do the first one in September and say, okay, next in October, it'll be the monthly one for all of September. We'll wrap that up. So we're going to keep the experiment going, though, because I want to see how this goes. It'll be interesting. I want to see how this works in better times. You can see the behind me here. So some people have criticized it, and they say, well, it's in a bear market, so of course they're doing bad. But that's why we have the control group. And what's interesting is you see the biggest drops have been just holding algo. So actually, you could say that it's actually better to be in these staking programs than it is to be in algo, except if you have the staking program disappears, like in the case of AlgoStake. I thought AlgoStake was a safe bet because your assets stay in your wallet. They never leave your wallet. The problem is, if you're using AlgoStake itself, if the app goes away, you're screwed. That is a risk I did not calculate into it, and probably should have. So lesson learned. That's why we do the experiment, because we're learning lessons. All right, guys, what do you think about this week? Leave it in the comments below. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the future.